The whispers started before Naomi Brooks even found her seat. She could hear them, those hushed voices that weren't quite hushed enough, floating across the elegantly decorated reception hall like poison. Her twin sister Simone's wedding was supposed to be a celebration, but for Naomi, it felt more like a trial. Every step she took in her royal blue bridesmaid dress seemed to draw eyes, and not the admiring kind. "That's her," someone muttered from a nearby table. "The one Travis dumped. I heard he left her for his co-worker. Can you imagine? She must be so embarrassed to show her face here." Naomi's hands trembled as she smoothed down her dress. She had been Simone's maid of honor, had stood beside her twin sister during the ceremony with a smile plastered on her face, but now that the formal photos were done, she was alone. Her assigned table, table 12, sat in a corner of the reception hall. The other seats were empty. Apparently, no one wanted to sit with the girl who got left behind. She sank into her chair, trying to make herself small. The crystal chandeliers above cast bright, cheerful light over the room, making everything visible. There was nowhere to hide. White tablecloths, silver centerpieces with fresh roses, and the happy chatter of 200 guests surrounded her. Everyone else seemed to be having a wonderful time. Except her. Her mother caught her eye from across the room and gave a sad smile, but she was busy with relatives. Her father was deep in conversation with Simone's new husband's family. Even Simone, beautiful in her white lace gown, was swept up in wedding activities. Naomi was truly alone. Did you see her come in by herself? No date. After what happened, I'm not surprised. Travis said she was impossible to deal with. The voices came from the table behind her. Naomi closed her eyes, fighting back tears. It had been 3 months since Travis had ended their engagement, 3 months since he'd stood in their apartment and told her he was in love with someone else. 3 months since he'd spread lies at their workplace, saying she was difficult and unprofessional, until she'd been forced to quit her marketing job at Henderson and Associates. 3 months of her life falling apart. And now, at her own sister's wedding, she had to sit here and listen to people who barely knew her decide who she was based on gossip. I heard she lost her job too. Really? Well, Travis seems happy with Jennifer now. I saw them together last week. Naomi's chest tightened. She couldn't breathe. The room felt too bright, too loud, too full of judgment. She thought about leaving, just standing up and walking out, but that would cause even more gossip. She was trapped. A waiter came by with champagne. Naomi took a glass with shaking hands, needing something to do, something to hold on to. She took a sip, barely tasting it. "Excuse me, is this seat taken?" The voice came from beside her, deep and warm. Naomi looked up, surprised. A man stood next to the empty chair at her table. He was tall, probably in his early 30s, with dark hair and kind brown eyes. He wore a perfectly tailored charcoal gray suit with a crisp white shirt and a burgundy tie. Everything about him spoke of wealth and confidence. She had never seen him before. No, Naomi managed to say. "It's empty. Do you mind if I sit?" he asked, his smile genuine. "I seem to have been placed at a table full of my business associates, and I could use a break from talking about stock portfolios." Naomi blinked. Why would someone like him want to sit with her? But she nodded. "Sure. Go ahead." He sat down gracefully, setting his own champagne glass on the table. "Thank you. I'm Cameron. Cameron Rhodes." "Naomi Brooks," she replied quietly. "Simone's sister." "The twin sister," Cameron said, his eyes lighting up with recognition. "I can see the resemblance. You're both beautiful." Naomi felt her cheeks warm. No one had called her beautiful in months. "Thank you." Cameron leaned back in his chair, looking completely at ease. "So, Naomi, are you enjoying the wedding?" She almost laughed at the question, but it came out as more of a sad exhale. "Honestly? Not really." "I understand that," Cameron said, his tone gentle. "Weddings can be complicated." They sat in silence for a moment. Naomi found herself relaxing slightly in his presence. There was something calming about him, something that didn't feel threatening or judgmental. Then she heard it again. The whispers. "Who's that man with her?" "I don't know. He looks important." "Maybe she's not as pathetic as we thought." Naomi's jaw clenched. Even now, even with someone sitting at her table, they were still talking about her. Still reducing her to gossip and speculation. She set down her champagne glass with more force than intended, and it made a sharp clink against the table. Cameron noticed. His expression shifted, becoming more serious. "Are those people bothering you?" he asked quietly, nodding toward the table behind them. Naomi hesitated. She didn't want to burden this stranger with her problems. But something about the way he asked, with such genuine concern, made her honest. "They've been talking about me all evening," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "About my ex-fiancé. About how he left me. About my failed relationship and lost job. I'm apparently the evening's entertainment." She expected him to make an excuse and leave. Who would want to associate with someone being gossiped about so cruelly? But Cameron didn't move. Instead, he leaned forward, his eyes meeting hers with an intensity that made her breath catch. "What if I could make them stop?" he asked. Naomi frowned, confused. "What do you mean?" Cameron glanced around the reception hall, then back at her. "Those people are talking because they think you're vulnerable. They think you're alone and defeated. But what if you weren't? What if you had someone by your side, someone who clearly cared about you? Someone who made it very obvious that you're not sitting here alone because no one wants you, but because you're with someone who does." Understanding dawned slowly. "You mean, pretend?" "Just for tonight," Cameron said. "Just for this wedding. I'll be your date. We'll make it clear that you're here with me and those whispers will stop. People always stop gossiping when there's nothing to gossip about." Naomi stared at him, her heart pounding. It was such a strange offer, coming from a complete stranger. But as she looked into his eyes, she saw only kindness. No ulterior motive. No mockery. Just a genuine desire to help. "Why would you do that?" she asked. "You don't even know me." Cameron smiled, a real smile that reached his eyes. "Because I know what it's like to be talked about. I know what it's like to have people make assumptions about who you are based on rumors and gossip. And because, honestly, no one should have to sit alone at their sister's wedding while people say cruel things about them. You deserve better than that." Tears pricked at Naomi's eyes, but this time they weren't from sadness. They were from relief. From the unexpected kindness of a stranger who saw her pain and wanted to help. "Okay," she whispered. "Yes. Thank you." Have you ever felt invisible in a room full of people like Naomi did at her sister's wedding? Have you ever wished someone would see your pain and offer help? If this story touches your heart, please subscribe and comment below about a time when someone's kindness changed your day. Your story matters. The champagne tasted like nothing in Naomi's mouth. She set the glass down and tried to ignore the continuing murmurs from the tables around her. Her royal blue bridesmaid dress, which had looked so pretty that morning, now felt like a spotlight drawing attention to her isolation. Cameron Rhodes adjusted his position in the chair beside her, making their proximity more noticeable to anyone watching. He was good at this, Naomi realized. He moved with the kind of confidence that came from years of navigating social situations. "Tell me about yourself," Cameron said, his voice loud enough that the nearby tables could hear him being attentive to her. "What do you do for work?" Naomi swallowed hard. This was the other painful topic. "I'm between jobs right now," she admitted. "I worked in marketing for 5 years at Henderson & Associates, but I left a few months ago." "Their loss," Cameron said smoothly. "Marketing is a tough field. Very competitive. I'm sure you'll find something better suited to your talents soon." She appreciated that he didn't push for details, didn't ask the uncomfortable questions about why she'd left. He simply accepted her answer and moved forward. "What about you?" Naomi asked, realizing she should probably know something about the man pretending to be her date. "What do you do?" "I run a tech company," Cameron explained. "Rhodes Industries. We develop software solutions for businesses, mostly logistics and inventory management systems. It's not as exciting as it sounds. Lots of meetings and coding debates." Naomi raised her eyebrows. Rhodes Industries. She'd heard of them. They were one of the biggest tech companies in the state, worth billions. And Cameron Rhodes was sitting at her table, offering to help her. "That sounds very exciting actually," she said. Cameron laughed, a genuine sound that made some of the tension in Naomi's shoulders ease. "You're being kind. But thank you." The band started playing a slow song, and couples began moving toward the dance floor. Simone and her new husband Patrick were already there, swaying together in the center. They looked so happy, so complete. Naomi felt a pang of envy, followed immediately by guilt. She loved her sister. She wanted Simone to be happy. It wasn't Simone's fault that Naomi's own relationship had crashed and burned. "Would you like to dance?" Cameron asked. Naomi looked at him, startled. "You don't have to do that." "I know," Cameron said, standing and extending his hand to her. "But I want to. Besides, it's part of the plan, remember? We're here together. And couples dance at weddings." Naomi hesitated for only a moment before placing her hand in his. His palm was warm and steady, and when he helped her to her feet, she felt a little less shaky. They walked to the dance floor together and Naomi could feel eyes following them. Cameron's hand settled on her waist, respectful and gentle. Naomi placed her hand on his shoulder, and they began to move to the music. He was a good dancer, leading her with easy confidence. "You're doing great," Cameron murmured, close enough that only she could hear. "I feel like everyone is staring at us," Naomi whispered back. "They are," Cameron confirmed. "But not for the reasons you think. They're staring because they're surprised. Because you look beautiful, and I look interested, and that doesn't fit the sad story they were telling themselves about you." Naomi looked up at him. His expression was serious now, focused on her face. "Why are you really doing this?" she asked. "There must be something you want." Cameron's lips quirked into a small smile. "What if I told you I just wanted to help? People don't help for no reason." "Some people do," Cameron said. "My mother taught me that kindness doesn't need a reason. She used to say that when you have the ability to make someone's day better, you should take it. No questions asked. No payment expected. Just kindness." Naomi felt something loosen in her chest. "Your mother sounds wise." "She was," Cameron agreed, a shadow of sadness crossing his face. "She passed away 2 years ago." "I'm sorry." "Thank you," Cameron said. "But she would have liked you. She would have appreciated how brave you are, showing up here today even though you knew it would be difficult." "I didn't feel brave," Naomi admitted. "I felt terrified." "Bravery isn't not feeling afraid," Cameron told her. "It's feeling afraid and doing it anyway." They danced in silence for a few moments, moving in gentle circles. Naomi found herself relaxing against him, letting the music and his steady presence calm her nerves. Around them, other couples swayed. The bright lights from the chandeliers cast everything in clear, beautiful focus. When the song ended, Cameron didn't immediately let go. He looked down at her, his brown eyes warm. "How are you holding up?" "Better," Naomi said honestly. "Much better. Thank you." They returned to their table, and Naomi noticed that the whispers had changed. Now people were leaning toward each other with curious expressions, asking questions about Cameron rather than making cruel comments about her. "Who is he? He must be someone important. Look at that suit. I wonder how long they've been together." Naomi caught the eye of one of the gossiping women and was surprised to see the woman quickly look away, almost embarrassed. It was a small victory, but it felt significant. A server came by with dinner plates. Chicken with roasted vegetables and garlic mashed potatoes. Naomi realized she hadn't eaten since breakfast, too nervous about the wedding to keep anything down. Now, sitting with Cameron, she found her appetite returning. "This looks good," Cameron said, picking up his fork. They ate and talked about easy things. Cameron asked about her childhood with Simone, about growing up as twins. Naomi found herself telling stories she hadn't thought about in years, laughing at the memory of switching places in elementary school to confuse their teachers. "Did it work?" Cameron asked, grinning. "For about a week," Naomi said. "Then Simone got caught because she didn't know the answer to a math problem I had studied for. Our mother was not impressed." "I bet," Cameron said. "But it sounds like you two were close." "We were," Naomi said, her smile fading slightly. "We still are, mostly. But things have been strange lately. After everything that happened with Travis, Simone didn't know how to act around me. I think she felt guilty, like her happiness was somehow rubbing salt in my wounds." "Is it?" Cameron asked gently. Naomi considered the question. "No," she said finally. "I mean, it hurts that my relationship failed while hers succeeded. But I don't resent her for it. I just wish things had been different for me." "They will be," Cameron said with quiet certainty. "Different and better. I know that probably sounds empty coming from someone who just met you, but I mean it. What happened with your ex doesn't define you. You're starting a new chapter." Naomi wanted to believe him. Sitting there, with good food and surprisingly good company, it almost felt possible. After dinner, Simone and Patrick cut the cake, a towering creation with white frosting and sugar flowers. Everyone gathered around to watch and take photos. Naomi stood at the edge of the crowd, Cameron beside her. Simone caught her eye over the crowd and smiled, a real smile full of sisterly love. Naomi smiled back, grateful that at least this moment was good between them. When the cake was distributed, Cameron and Naomi returned to their table. The night was moving forward, becoming less painful with each passing hour. "I should probably let you go," Naomi said as they finished their cake. "You've been very kind, but I'm sure you have other people to talk to. Important business people." Cameron shook his head. "I'm exactly where I want to be," he said. "Unless you want me to leave?" "No," Naomi said quickly. Too quickly. She felt her cheeks warm. No, I appreciate the company. Good, Cameron said. Because I'm enjoying myself. You're interesting, Naomi Brooks. And I'd like to keep talking with you if you'll let me. There was something in his tone, something that suggested this was more than just pretend now. But Naomi didn't let herself think about that too much. She just nodded and accepted the gift of his presence. The evening continued. The band played more songs. People danced and laughed and celebrated. And Naomi, for the first time in months, felt like she was part of it instead of outside looking in. The wedding reception wound down slowly. Guests began to leave, calling out goodbyes and congratulations. The bright overhead lights stayed on, keeping everything visible and clear as the crowd thinned. Cameron had stayed by Naomi's side the entire evening. They had talked about everything and nothing, easy conversations that felt natural despite having just met. He told her about growing up in Seattle, about learning to code when he was 12, about building his company from the ground up. She told him about her love for marketing, about creating campaigns that connected with people, about the satisfaction of seeing a project succeed. You really love it, Cameron observed. Marketing, I mean. Your whole face lights up when you talk about it. Naomi nodded. I do. Or I did. I'm not sure anymore. After everything that happened at Henderson and Associates, I've been questioning whether I'm even good at it. What happened there? Cameron asked. If you don't mind me asking. Naomi took a breath. She hadn't talked about this with anyone except her family, and even then only briefly. But Cameron had been so kind, so open with her, that she felt like she owed him honesty. Travis, my ex-fiancé, worked at the same firm, she began. We were in different departments, so it wasn't usually a problem. But when he started seeing Jennifer, one of his co-workers, things got complicated. He told people I was the reason our relationship failed. He said I was demanding and unprofessional. He made up stories about me being difficult to work with. That's horrible, Cameron said, his expression darkening. It worked, Naomi continued. People started treating me differently. My boss began questioning my work. Clients asked for different account managers. It got so bad that I couldn't stay. I quit before they could fire me. Did you have any proof that he was lying? Cameron asked. No, Naomi said. It was all verbal, all whispers and implications. Nothing concrete. And even if I had proof, what was I supposed to do? Sue him? Fight back publicly? I just wanted it to be over. Cameron was quiet for a moment. Then he said, you deserve better. Both in your relationship and in your workplace. What he did was wrong. I know, Naomi said softly. But knowing it doesn't change anything. Maybe not, Cameron agreed. But it's a start. Simone approached their table, her wedding dress flowing behind her. She looked tired but radiantly happy. Naomi, she said, smiling. I'm so glad you're still here. Patrick and I are about to leave for the hotel. Naomi stood and hugged her sister. Congratulations again. It was a beautiful wedding. Simone held her tight. Thank you for being here. I know it wasn't easy. It was worth it, Naomi said honestly. Simone pulled back and glanced at Cameron, curiosity in her eyes. And who is this? This is Cameron Rhodes, Naomi introduced. Cameron, my twin sister, Simone. Cameron stood and shook Simone's hand. Congratulations on your marriage. It was a lovely ceremony. Thank you, Simone said, clearly trying to figure out who he was and why he'd been sitting with Naomi all evening. It's nice to meet you. Are you a friend of Patrick's? Business associate, Cameron explained smoothly. But I'm hoping to become a friend of Naomi's. Simone's eyebrows rose and she looked at Naomi with questions in her eyes. Naomi gave a tiny shake of her head, a silent message that she'd explain later. Simone seemed to understand because she just smiled and said, well, any friend of Naomi's is welcome. I hope you enjoyed the wedding. Very much, Cameron assured her. After Simone left, Naomi and Cameron gathered their things. The reception hall was nearly empty now, just a few remaining guests and the catering staff cleaning up. Can I walk you to your car? Cameron offered. I took a cab here, Naomi admitted. I didn't want to worry about parking. Then let me drive you home, Cameron said. It's late and I'd feel better knowing you got there safely. Naomi hesitated. She didn't want to impose any more than she already had. But the thought of calling a cab and riding home alone, letting all the emotions of the evening crash down on her in the back of a stranger's car, felt overwhelming. Are you sure? She asked. Absolutely, Cameron said. They walked out of the reception hall together into the cool night air. The venue was a historic building downtown, all brick and tall windows. Cameron's car was parked in a nearby lot, a sleek black sedan that probably cost more than Naomi had made in a year at her old job. He opened the passenger door for her, a gesture that felt old-fashioned and oddly comforting. Naomi slid into the leather seat, and Cameron closed the door gently before walking around to the driver's side. The car was immaculate inside, with soft lighting and the faint scent of something clean and expensive. Cameron started the engine and it purred to life smoothly. "Where do you live?" he asked. Naomi gave him her address, an apartment complex on the east side of town. It wasn't fancy, but it was affordable, especially now that she didn't have a steady income. They drove in comfortable silence for a few minutes. The city streets were quiet at this hour, just a few other cars and the occasional pedestrian. The bright streetlights kept everything visible and clear. "Thank you," Naomi said finally. "For tonight. For everything. You didn't have to do any of that, but you did, and it meant a lot." "You're welcome," Cameron said. "I'm glad I could help." "Can I ask you something?" Naomi said. "Of course." "Why were you at the wedding alone?" Naomi asked. "I mean, you seem like someone who would have a date." Cameron smiled slightly. "I was invited because Patrick's family does business with my company. It was more of a professional courtesy than a personal invitation. I almost didn't come, but I had a feeling I should. Now I'm glad I did." Naomi felt warmth spread through her chest. "Me too." They reached her apartment complex and Cameron pulled into the parking lot. He put the car in park but didn't immediately move to end the conversation. "Naomi," he said, turning to look at her. "I'd like to see you again. Not as pretend dates but as real friends. Maybe more than friends if you're open to it." Naomi's breath caught. "Cameron, I'm not sure I'm ready for more. I'm still dealing with everything that happened with Travis." "I understand," Cameron said quickly. "I'm not asking for anything serious right now. Just coffee sometime. A chance to get to know each other better without the pressure of a wedding reception." Naomi thought about it. Every instinct told her to say no, to protect herself from potential hurt. But Cameron had been nothing but kind. He had helped her without asking for anything in return. And she liked him. She genuinely enjoyed his company. "Okay," she said. "Coffee sounds nice." Cameron's face lit up. "Really?" "Really," Naomi confirmed. "Give me your phone. I'll put my number in." Cameron handed over his phone, and Naomi typed in her contact information. She handed it back and their fingers brushed. It was a small touch, but it sent a flutter through her stomach. "I'll text you tomorrow," Cameron promised. "We can figure out a time that works." "Sounds good," Naomi said. She got out of the car, and Cameron waited until she was safely inside the building before driving away. Naomi climbed the stairs to her third-floor apartment, her mind spinning with everything that had happened. Inside her small one-bedroom apartment, she kicked off her heels and collapsed onto her couch. The royal blue bridesmaid dress pooled around her. She should get up and change, but she couldn't quite make herself move yet. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "It's Cameron. Just making sure you got in okay. Sleep well, Naomi." She saved his contact and replied. "I did. Thank you again for tonight. You turned what could have been the worst evening into something bearable. Maybe even good." His response came quickly. "The pleasure was mine. Looking forward to that coffee." Naomi smiled, a real smile that felt foreign after months of forced expressions. Maybe Cameron was right. Maybe this was the start of a new chapter. A different and better one. She got ready for bed, washing off her makeup and changing into comfortable pajamas. But as she lay in bed, she couldn't stop thinking about the evening. About Cameron's kindness. About the way he had looked at her, really looked at her like she mattered. It felt too good to be true. But for the first time in a long time, Naomi let herself hope. 3 days later, Naomi sat in a coffee shop downtown waiting for Cameron. She had changed her outfit 4 times that morning, finally settling on a simple red blouse and jeans. Nothing too fancy but nice enough that she felt put together. The coffee shop was bright and busy, with large windows letting in plenty of natural light. The scent of fresh coffee and baked goods filled the air. Naomi had arrived early, nervous energy making her unable to sit still at home. Cameron walked in right on time, spotting her immediately. He wore dark jeans and a blue button-down shirt, more casual than the suit he'd worn at the wedding but still polished. He smiled when he saw her, and Naomi felt that same flutter in her stomach. "Hi," he said, sliding into the seat across from her. "Have you been waiting long?" "Just a few minutes," Naomi said. "I got here early." "Nervous?" Cameron asked, his tone teasing but kind. "A little," Naomi admitted. Is that obvious? Only because I am too, Cameron said. I don't usually do this. Do what? Ask women I barely know out for coffee, Cameron explained. I'm usually too busy with work. But I couldn't stop thinking about you after the wedding. Naomi felt her cheeks warm. I couldn't stop thinking about you either. They ordered coffee and pastries, falling into easy conversation. Cameron asked about her week, and Naomi told him about job hunting, sending out resumes and dealing with the frustration of automated rejection emails. It's harder than I expected, she confessed. I thought with my experience I'd have more options. But Travis's lies seem to have spread further than I realized. People in the industry talk. Cameron frowned. That's not fair to you. No, Naomi agreed. But it's reality. Cameron was quiet for a moment, stirring his coffee thoughtfully. Then he said, What if I could help with that? Naomi looked up sharply. What do you mean? Rhodes Industries has a marketing department, Cameron explained. We're actually looking for someone to lead our social media and public relations efforts. It's a new position created because we're expanding. The salary is competitive, the benefits are good, and you'd have a lot of creative freedom. Naomi stared at him. Cameron, I can't ask you to do that. You're not asking, Cameron pointed out. I'm offering. And I'm not offering because I feel sorry for you. I'm offering because you're qualified, you're talented, and my company needs someone like you. But we just met, Naomi protested. You don't even know if I'm good at my job. I can check your references, Cameron said. I can look at your portfolio. But I have a feeling that whatever Travis said about you is completely untrue. And even if I'm wrong, even if you're not the perfect fit, at least you'd have a chance. A real chance without his lies hanging over you. Naomi bit her lip. Part of her wanted to refuse, to maintain her pride and independence. But another part, the practical part that was running out of savings and options, knew this was exactly the kind of opportunity she needed. Can I think about it? She asked. Of course, Cameron said. Take all the time you need. The position isn't going anywhere this week. They finished their coffee and walked out into the bright afternoon. The sun was high in the sky, warming the sidewalk. People passed by, going about their lives. Would you like to take a walk? Cameron suggested. There's a park a few blocks from here. Sure, Naomi agreed. They walked side by side, not touching but close enough that Naomi could feel his presence. The park was beautiful, with tall trees and well-maintained paths. Families played on the grass and joggers passed by. Tell me more about your company, Naomi said. What's it like to run Rhodes Industries? Cameron considered the question. It's challenging, he said. We have over 200 employees now, offices in 3 states. Some days I feel like I'm drowning in meetings and decisions. But other days when I see what we've built, what we've created, it feels worth it. You started the company yourself? Naomi asked. With a business partner, Cameron corrected. His name is Thomas Chin. We met in college, both studying computer science. We had this idea for inventory management software that could integrate with multiple platforms seamlessly. Everyone said it wouldn't work, that the market was too saturated. But we believed in it. And you were right, Naomi said. We got lucky, Cameron said. Hard work helped, but so did timing. We launched right when businesses were looking for better solutions. And once we had a few major clients, word spread. They found a bench near a fountain and sat down. The water sparkled in the sunlight, clear and bright. My mother always said that luck is just preparation meeting opportunity, Cameron continued. She was the one who encouraged me to take risks, to believe in myself. When she passed, it was like losing my compass. I can't imagine, Naomi said softly. She would have liked you, Cameron said again. She always said I needed someone grounded in my life. Someone who would remind me that success isn't just about money or business growth. It's about being a good person. Naomi looked at him, seeing the sincerity in his expression. You are a good person, Cameron. What you did at the wedding, offering to help me, that was incredibly kind. I had selfish reasons too, Cameron admitted. You were beautiful and interesting, and I wanted an excuse to talk to you. Naomi laughed. Well, it worked. They sat in comfortable silence, watching people pass by. A group of children played nearby, their laughter bright and carefree. I've been thinking about your job offer, Naomi said finally. Cameron turned to her. And? I want to say yes, Naomi said. But I need to do it right. I need to submit my resume formally, go through an interview process. If I'm going to work for your company, I want to earn the position. That's fair, Cameron said. Send me your resume tonight. I'll have our HR department set up an interview for next week. Thank you, Naomi said. Really? This means everything. Cameron reached over and took her hand, his touch warm and reassuring. You're going to do great things, Naomi. I can feel it. They stayed in the park for another hour, talking about their dreams and fears, their pasts and possible futures. When they finally left, walking back toward the coffee shop where they'd started, Naomi felt lighter than she had in months. Can I see you again before the interview? Cameron asked as they reached his car. I'd like that, Naomi said. Dinner tomorrow? Cameron suggested. There's this great Italian place downtown. Nothing too fancy, just good food and good company. That sounds perfect, Naomi agreed. Cameron drove her home again, and this time when they said goodbye, he gave her a quick hug. It was brief but meaningful, a promise of more to come. That evening, Naomi sat at her laptop and updated her resume. She carefully curated her portfolio, selecting her best work from Henderson and Associates. Campaign materials, social media strategies, successful product launches. All evidence of her skills and talent. She sent everything to Cameron with a brief email thanking him again for the opportunity. His response came within minutes. Impressive work. Interview scheduled for Tuesday at 10 a.m. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow for dinner. Naomi smiled and closed her laptop. For the first time in months, she felt like things were moving in the right direction. Like maybe, just maybe, everything was going to be okay. The Italian restaurant was exactly as Cameron described. Cozy but not stuffy, with checkered tablecloths and candles on each table. The lighting was bright and welcoming, making everything feel warm without being dim. Naomi wore a green dress, simple but elegant. Cameron had picked her up from her apartment, and they'd driven through the city making easy conversation about their days. I'm nervous about the interview, Naomi admitted as they looked over their menus. Don't be, Cameron said. Just be yourself. Show them what you showed me, that passion for marketing and creativity. What if they don't like me? Naomi asked. Impossible, Cameron said with a grin. You're incredibly likable. The server came to take their order. Naomi chose pasta with marinara sauce, and Cameron ordered chicken parmesan. They split an order of garlic bread. Tell me about your family, Cameron said once the server left. Besides Simone, do you have other siblings? Just Simone, Naomi said. We're close even though things have been a bit strained lately. What about you? No siblings, Cameron said. It was just me and my parents. My father is retired now, living in Florida. We talk every week, but he likes his space. After my mother died, he needed to get away from all the memories. That must be hard, Naomi said. Being so far from your remaining parent. It is sometimes, Cameron admitted. But I understand it. Grief is different for everyone. He needed sunshine and golf courses. I needed work and purpose. Their food arrived, steaming and delicious. They ate and talked, the conversation flowing naturally from topic to topic. Cameron told her about Thomas, his business partner, who was currently in California meeting with potential clients. Thomas is the numbers guy, Cameron explained. I'm more about the vision and strategy. Together we balance each other out. That sounds like a good partnership, Naomi said. It is, Cameron agreed. We've had our disagreements over the years, but we always figure it out. Trust is everything in business. Naomi thought about that. Trust was everything in relationships too, she realized. And Travis had broken that trust so completely that she'd forgotten what it felt like to believe in someone. What are you thinking about? Cameron asked, noticing her distant expression. Trust, Naomi said honestly. How Travis broke mine. How hard it is to rebuild. Cameron set down his fork and looked at her seriously. I can't promise that everyone you meet will be trustworthy. But I can promise that I will be. Whatever happens between us, whether we become friends or something more, I won't lie to you. And I won't let anyone hurt you if I can help it. Naomi felt tears prick her eyes. Why are you so kind to me? Because you deserve kindness, Cameron said simply. And because I like you, Naomi. A lot. More than I probably should after only knowing you a few days. They finished dinner and shared a dessert, tiramisu that melted on Naomi's tongue. Cameron insisted on paying, waving away her protests. Let me do this, he said. Please. Naomi nodded, accepting his generosity with gratitude instead of pride. They walked out into the evening air. It was cooler now and Naomi shivered slightly. Cameron immediately shrugged off his jacket and draped it over her shoulders. Thank you, she said, wrapping the jacket around herself. It smelled like him, clean and masculine. My pleasure, Cameron said. They walked to his car, but instead of getting in immediately, Cameron turned to her. Naomi, I want to be clear about something. The job offer is real, and it's not dependent on anything between us personally. If you decide you don't want to see me romantically, the position is still yours if you want it. I don't want you to feel pressured or like you owe me anything. Naomi looked up at him, seeing the sincerity in his eyes. Thank you for saying that. But for the record, I do want to see you. Not because of the job, but because I enjoy spending time with you. Cameron smiled, a genuine expression that made Naomi's heart skip. Good. Because I really enjoy spending time with you too. He drove her home, and when they reached her apartment, he walked her to her door like a gentleman. Good luck on Tuesday, Cameron said. Not that you need it. Thank you, Naomi said. For everything. For dinner, for the opportunity, for being patient with me. Always, Cameron promised. He leaned in slowly, giving her time to pull away if she wanted to. But Naomi didn't pull away. She let him press a gentle kiss to her cheek, soft and sweet. Good night, Naomi, Cameron said. Good night, Cameron, she replied. She watched him walk back to his car and drive away before going inside. Her apartment felt emptier than usual, but in a way that made her want to fill it with life and possibility. Tuesday morning arrived quickly. Naomi dressed in a professional burgundy suit, making sure her hair and makeup were perfect. She reviewed her portfolio one more time, then drove to Rhodes Industries. The building was modern and impressive, all glass and steel with bright, clean lines. Inside, the reception area was decorated with minimalist furniture and large windows that let in natural light. I'm Naomi Brooks, she told the receptionist. I have a 10 o'clock interview. Of course, the receptionist said with a warm smile. Someone will be with you shortly. Please have a seat. Naomi sat in one of the chairs, her heart pounding. She could do this. She was qualified. She was talented. She deserved this chance. A woman in her 40s appeared, extending her hand. Naomi? I'm Rachel Thompson, head of HR. It's nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too, Naomi said, shaking her hand. Rachel led her to a conference room where two other people waited. They introduced themselves as members of the marketing team. For the next hour, they asked Naomi questions about her experience, her strategies, her vision for social media growth. Naomi answered confidently, showing examples from her portfolio and explaining her thought process behind successful campaigns. She talked about audience engagement, brand consistency, and creative problem-solving. The interviewers seemed impressed. They asked thoughtful follow-up questions, and Naomi could tell they were genuinely interested in her ideas. We'll be in touch by the end of the week, Rachel said as they wrapped up. Thank you for coming in, Naomi. Your work is very impressive. Thank you for the opportunity, Naomi said. She left the building feeling hopeful. She had done well. No matter what happened, she had proven to herself that she still had value, still had skills worth offering. Her phone rang as she reached her car. Cameron. How did it go? He asked. I think it went well, Naomi said. They seem to like my ideas. I told you, Cameron said, and she could hear the smile in his voice. You're going to be great. We'll see, Naomi said. But thank you for believing in me. Always, Cameron said. Listen, I have to fly to California tomorrow for a few days to meet with Thomas and some clients. But when I get back, can I take you out again? Yes, Naomi said without hesitation. I'd like that. The call came on Thursday. Rachel from HR, her voice professional but warm. Naomi, we'd like to offer you the position of social media and public relations manager at Rhodes Industries. The team was very impressed with your interview and portfolio. Naomi felt tears spring to her eyes. Thank you. Thank you so much. I accept. They discussed details. Salary that was more than she'd made at Henderson and Associates, health benefits, vacation days, a start date of the following Monday. It was everything Naomi had hoped for and more. After hanging up, Naomi called Cameron immediately. He answered on the second ring. I got the job, she said, her voice shaking with emotion. Congratulations, Cameron said warmly. I knew you would. You earned this, Naomi. All on your own merit. Thank you, Naomi said, for giving me the chance. The team made the decision, Cameron insisted. I just opened the door. You walked through it yourself. They talked for a few more minutes before Cameron had to go to another meeting. Naomi hung up and immediately called Simone. Hello, her sister answered. I got a job, Naomi said. A really good one. Oh my gosh, Naomi, that's wonderful, Simone exclaimed. Tell me everything. Naomi explained about Rhodes Industries, about the interview, about the position. She left out the part about Cameron specifically helping her, not wanting to complicate the conversation. "I'm so proud of you," Simone said. "You've been through so much these past months. You deserve this." "Thank you," Naomi said. "How's married life?" "Amazing," Simone said, her voice full of happiness. "Patrick is wonderful. We just got back from our honeymoon in Hawaii. It was beautiful." They talked for another 20 minutes, catching up properly for the first time since the wedding. It felt good to reconnect with her sister, to hear the support in Simone's voice. That weekend, Naomi went shopping for work clothes. She couldn't afford much, but she found a few nice pieces that would help her look professional. Standing in front of the fitting room mirror in a maroon blazer and black slacks, she barely recognized herself. She looked confident, capable, like someone who had her life together. It was a nice illusion, even if it didn't quite match how she felt inside yet. Monday morning arrived. Naomi woke up early, too excited to sleep. She dressed carefully in one of her new outfits, a blue blouse and navy pants. She styled her hair and applied makeup, wanting to make a good first impression. The Rhodes Industries building looked even more impressive in the morning light. Naomi parked in the employee lot and walked inside, checking in with the receptionist. Rachel met her in the lobby and gave her a tour of the office. The marketing department was on the 4th floor, an open space with individual desks and several conference rooms. Everything was modern and bright, with large windows overlooking the city. "This is your desk," Rachel said, stopping at a workspace near the window. A new computer waited, along with office supplies and a welcome packet. "It's perfect," Naomi said. Rachel introduced her to the team. There were 5 other people in the marketing department, all friendly and welcoming. They seemed genuinely excited to have her there. "We've been doing our best with social media," one of them, a young woman named Beth, explained. "But none of us are really experts. We're glad to have someone who knows what they're doing." Naomi spent the morning getting settled, reviewing the company's current social media presence and making notes. The accounts existed but were underutilized. There was so much potential for growth. At lunch, she ate at her desk, too absorbed in planning to take a break. She was outlining a content calendar when Cameron appeared at her cubicle. "How's the first day going?" he asked. Naomi looked up, smiling. "Really well. There's a lot to do, but I'm excited about it." "That's good to hear," Cameron said. "Listen, I don't want to make things weird by hanging around too much. But I wanted to check in and make sure you had everything you need." "I do," Naomi assured him. "Rachel has been great and the team is wonderful." "Good," Cameron said. "I'll let you get back to work. But maybe we can have dinner this week? Catch up properly?" "I'd like that," Naomi said. Cameron smiled and left, and Naomi watched him go, feeling a warmth in her chest. He was being so respectful, so careful not to make her uncomfortable at work. It meant a lot. The rest of the day flew by. Naomi met with the team to discuss strategy, presented her initial ideas for improving engagement, and started creating content. By the time 5 o'clock arrived, she was exhausted but satisfied. She drove home feeling accomplished. For the first time in months, she had a purpose again. She had a place where she belonged. That evening she got a text from Cameron. "Dinner Wednesday?" "Yes," she replied. "Looking forward to it." The week continued smoothly. Naomi threw herself into her work, creating engaging posts, responding to comments and building Rhodes Industries' online presence. The engagement numbers started climbing immediately, and her team seemed impressed. On Wednesday, Cameron picked her up for dinner. They went to a seafood restaurant, bright and bustling with activity. "You're doing amazing work," Cameron said over dinner. "The team can't stop talking about how much better our social media looks." "They're giving me a lot of credit," Naomi said. "But I'm just doing my job." "You're doing more than that," Cameron insisted. "You're bringing creativity and energy that we've been missing." They talked about work and life, falling into the easy rhythm they'd established. Naomi found herself opening up more, sharing her dreams and fears. "I want to prove that I'm more than what Travis said about me," she admitted. "I want to show everyone that I'm capable and talented." "You already are," Cameron said. "But I understand the need to prove it. Just remember that you're doing this for yourself, not for him or anyone else who doubted you." After dinner, they walked along the waterfront. The lights from the city reflected on the water, bright and beautiful. "Naomi," Cameron said, stopping to face her. "I need to tell you something." "What is it?" she asked. "I'm falling for you," Cameron said. "I know it's fast, I know we haven't known each other long. But I can't help it. You're kind and strong and talented, and being around you makes me happy." Naomi felt her heart race. Cameron. You don't have to say anything back, Cameron said quickly. I just wanted you to know. No pressure, no expectations. Just the truth. Naomi looked at him, at his honest, open expression. And she realized something. She was falling for him too. Maybe she had been since the night of the wedding, when he'd seen her pain and offered help without asking for anything in return. I'm falling for you too, she said softly. It scares me because I don't want to get hurt again. But I can't deny what I feel. Cameron stepped closer, reaching for her hand. I'll be careful with your heart. I promise. They stood there by the water, holding hands and watching the lights dance on the surface. It felt like a beginning, the start of something real and meaningful. Over the next few weeks, Naomi and Cameron settled into a comfortable rhythm. They had dinner twice a week, sometimes more. They texted throughout the day, sharing funny observations and checking in on each other. At work, Naomi continued to excel. Her social media campaigns were generating impressive results, bringing in new followers and engagement. The company's online presence was stronger than it had ever been. You've increased our reach by 40% in just a month, Rachel said during Naomi's first review. That's exceptional. Thank you, Naomi said, feeling proud. I'm just getting started. I have plans for some bigger campaigns in the coming months. We're excited to see what you do, Rachel said. One evening, as Naomi was packing up to leave the office, Cameron appeared at her desk. Do you have plans tonight? He asked. Just going home and watching TV, Naomi said. Why? There's a charity gala this weekend, Cameron explained. For children's literacy. I usually go alone, but I'd love it if you'd come with me. As my date. Naomi felt butterflies in her stomach. A charity gala was a big step. It would be public, with photographers and other wealthy people. She'd be entering Cameron's world in a real way. I'd love to, she said, pushing past her nervousness. But I don't have anything appropriate to wear to a gala. We can fix that, Cameron said. Let me take you shopping. Please. I know it's a lot to ask, but I really want you there with me. Naomi hesitated. She didn't want to feel like Cameron was buying her, like she was some kind of charity case. But she also recognized that she genuinely couldn't afford the kind of dress needed for an event like that. Okay, she said finally. But only if you let me consider it a loan. I'll pay you back once I have more saved up. Cameron smiled. Deal. Though I wish you'd just let me give you the dress as a gift. Baby steps, Naomi said. I'm not comfortable with that yet. Fair enough, Cameron agreed. Saturday morning? We can make a day of it. Saturday arrived bright and clear. Cameron picked Naomi up, and they drove to an upscale shopping district. The stores were elegant, with displays that looked like art installations. I've never shopped anywhere like this, Naomi admitted as they walked into a boutique. First time for everything, Cameron said. A sales associate approached, all smiles and professional courtesy. Can I help you find something? We're looking for a gala dress, Cameron explained. Something elegant but comfortable. The associate's eyes lit up. I have the perfect selection. Follow me. She led them to a section of the store with beautiful gowns in every color. Naomi's eyes widened at the selection. Try on whatever catches your eye, Cameron encouraged. Naomi browsed through the options, her fingers trailing over silk and satin. She selected several dresses and headed to the fitting room. The first dress was a deep purple gown with intricate beading. Beautiful, but it didn't feel quite right. The second was red, bold and striking. Naomi liked it more. The third dress was emerald green with a fitted bodice and a flowing skirt. When Naomi put it on and looked in the mirror, she felt like a different person. Elegant. Confident. Beautiful. She stepped out of the fitting room to show Cameron. His expression when he saw her told her everything she needed to know. That's the one, he said, his voice almost reverent. You look stunning. Naomi blushed. You think so? I know so, Cameron said. They purchased the dress along with shoes and a small clutch purse. Cameron insisted on paying, and Naomi made a note in her phone of the amount she owed him, determined to pay it back eventually. After shopping, they had lunch at a casual cafe. The bright afternoon sun streamed through the windows as they ate sandwiches and talked. Thank you for coming with me to the gala, Cameron said. It means a lot. Thank you for inviting me, Naomi replied. I'm nervous about it, but I'm also excited. You'll be fine, Cameron assured her. Just be yourself. Everyone will love you. I'm not so sure about that, Naomi said. I'm not exactly high society. Neither am I, Cameron said. Not really. Yes, I have money now, but I grew up middle class. My parents were teachers. I built Rhodes Industries from nothing. I don't come from wealth, Naomi. I made it. And that's something to be proud of. His words comforted her. She had been thinking of Cameron as someone from a different world, but maybe they weren't so different after all. The gala was held at a grand hotel ballroom. When they arrived, Naomi was overwhelmed by the elegance of it all. Crystal chandeliers hung from the ceiling, casting bright light over the room. Round tables with white linens and elaborate centerpieces filled the space. People in tuxedos and evening gowns mingled, holding glasses of champagne. Cameron took her hand as they walked in. "You okay?" he asked quietly. "Yes," Naomi said, squeezing his hand. "I'm okay." He introduced her to various people throughout the evening. Business associates, friends, other philanthropists. Everyone was polite and welcoming. No one made her feel out of place. During dinner, there was a presentation about the literacy program the event supported. Statistics about children who couldn't read, about communities without access to books, about the difference that education made. "This is why I come to these events," Cameron said during the presentation. "Not for the networking or the prestige, but because it actually helps people." After dinner, the band started playing. Cameron led Naomi to the dance floor, just as he had at Simone's wedding. "We keep ending up dancing together," Naomi observed as they swayed to the music. "I'm not complaining," Cameron said. "I like having you in my arms." Naomi rested her head against his chest, feeling safe and content. This was good. This felt right. Later in the evening, as they stood near the silent auction table, Cameron turned to her with a serious expression. "Naomi, there's something I want to talk to you about." "Okay," she said, feeling a flutter of nervousness. "I've been thinking about your situation," Cameron began. "With your mother's medical bills." Naomi stiffened. She had mentioned in passing that her mother had been sick last year, that the bills had been substantial even with insurance. But she hadn't given details. "I know you're working hard to pay them off," Cameron continued. "But it's a burden and it's causing you stress. I want to help." "Cameron, no," Naomi started, but he held up a hand. "Please let me finish," he said. "I want to pay off those bills for you. Not as a loan, as a gift. You shouldn't have to carry that weight." Naomi felt tears spring to her eyes. "That's too much. I can't accept that." "Why not?" Cameron asked gently. "I have the money. More than I could ever spend in a lifetime. Why shouldn't I use it to help someone I care about?" "Because it feels like charity," Naomi said, her voice breaking. "Like you're rescuing me." Cameron took both her hands in his. "It's not charity. It's love. I'm falling in love with you, Naomi. And when you love someone, you want to make their life easier. You want to help carry their burdens. Please let me do this for you." Naomi looked into his eyes and saw nothing but sincerity. He really wanted to help. Not to control her or make her dependent on him, but simply because he cared. "Okay," she whispered. "Yes. Thank you." Cameron pulled her into a hug right there in the middle of the gala. "Thank you for letting me help you." They left the event soon after, both emotionally drained. In the car, Cameron held her hand as he drove. "I meant what I said," he told her. "I'm falling in love with you." "I know," Naomi said. "I'm falling in love with you too." It was the truth. Despite her fears, despite her past hurt, she was letting herself feel again. And it was terrifying and wonderful all at once. The following week, Simone called Naomi. "Can we have lunch?" her twin sister asked. "I feel like we haven't really talked since the wedding." "Sure," Naomi agreed. "When?" "How about today? I can come to you." They met at a small diner near Naomi's apartment. It was bright and cheerful, with red vinyl booths and checkered floors. Simone was already there when Naomi arrived, sitting in a booth and looking nervous. "Hi," Simone said as Naomi slid in across from her. "Hi," Naomi replied. They ordered sandwiches and iced tea. There was an awkward silence that felt foreign between twins who used to share everything. "I'm sorry," Simone said finally, "for not being there for you at the wedding. For not defending you when people were gossiping." Naomi felt a lump form in her throat. "I noticed." "I know," Simone said, tears in her eyes. "I was so caught up in my own happiness that I didn't protect you the way I should have. You're my sister. My twin. I should have shut down those awful people the moment they started talking." "Why didn't you?" Naomi asked, not accusingly, just genuinely wanting to understand. Simone wiped her eyes. "I think I felt guilty. Here I was, getting married, having this perfect day, and you were hurting so much from what Travis did. I didn't know how to balance being happy and being supportive of you. So I did neither very well. I never wanted you to feel guilty," Naomi said. I was happy for you, Simone. Your happiness didn't make my pain worse. I know that now, Simone said. But in the moment I just felt torn. And then I saw you with Cameron, and you looked happier than you had in months, and I didn't know what to think. He's wonderful, Naomi admitted. He's been incredibly kind to me. Tell me about him, Simone said, leaning forward. How did you meet? What's the story? Naomi told her everything. About sitting alone at the reception, about Cameron's offer to pretend to be her date, about how it had become something real. He sounds amazing, Simone said when she finished. And you look happy, Naomi. Really happy. I haven't seen you look like that in a long time. I am happy, Naomi said. For the first time in months I feel like myself again. Good, Simone said firmly. You deserve that. You deserve someone who sees how incredible you are. They talked for hours, catching up on everything. Simone told stories about her honeymoon, about adjusting to married life with Patrick. Naomi told her about her new job, about the campaign she was working on. Mom and Dad would be so proud of you, Simone said. Starting over like this, finding success after everything that happened. I hope so, Naomi said. Their parents lived across the country now, retired and enjoying their golden years. Naomi didn't want to worry them with details about her struggles. They are, Simone assured her. I talk to them all the time and they're always asking about you. By the time lunch ended, Naomi felt like she had her sister back. They hugged in the parking lot, holding each other tight. I love you, Simone said. And I'm sorry again for not being there when you needed me. I love you too, Naomi replied. And I forgive you. We're good. That evening, Cameron came over to Naomi's apartment for the first time. She had cooked dinner, nothing fancy, just pasta and salad, but she'd wanted to do something nice for him. This smells amazing, Cameron said as he stepped inside, carrying a bottle of wine. Naomi's apartment was small but cozy. She decorated it with colorful throw pillows and art prints, making it feel like home despite the limited space. They ate dinner on her small dining table, talking about their days. Cameron told her about a deal that had just closed, a major client signing on for a 3-year contract. That's wonderful, Naomi said. Congratulations. Thank you, Cameron said. It's been months of negotiation. I'm glad it finally came through. After dinner they sat on her couch, the TV playing softly in the background. Cameron had his arm around her and Naomi leaned against him, feeling content. I had lunch with Simone today, Naomi said. How did that go? Really well, Naomi said. She apologized for not being there for me at the wedding. We talked everything through. That's good, Cameron said. Family is important. She said something interesting, Naomi continued. She said I look happier than I have in a long time. And I realized she's right. I'm happy. Because of you. Cameron tilted her chin up to look at him. You make me happy too, Naomi. Happier than I've been in years. He kissed her then, soft and gentle. It was their first real kiss and it felt like a promise of more to come. 2 months into their relationship, Cameron invited Naomi to another event. This time it was a business gala, one of the biggest of the year. It's more formal than the charity event, Cameron explained. Lots of press, lots of important people. I want you there as my official date, someone I'm proud to have by my side. Naomi agreed, though she felt nervous. This would be the first time they'd be photographed together, the first time their relationship would be truly public. She bought a new dress for the occasion, using money from her paycheck. It was red this time, elegant and sophisticated. She felt confident when she looked in the mirror. The night of the gala, Cameron picked her up looking devastatingly handsome in his tuxedo. His eyes lit up when he saw her. You're breathtaking, he said. You're not so bad yourself, Naomi replied with a smile. The gala was held at an art museum. The main hall was filled with sculptures and paintings, all lit dramatically. Round tables surrounded a dance floor, and a stage was set up for presentations. As they walked in, cameras flashed. Naomi held Cameron's arm, trying to look natural despite her racing heart. Just smile, Cameron whispered. You're beautiful. You belong here. They found their table, where Thomas Chin and his wife were already seated. Thomas stood to greet them. Cameron, good to see you, Thomas said, shaking his hand. Then he turned to Naomi. And you must be Naomi. I've heard so much about you. All good things, I hope, Naomi said with a smile. Very good things, Thomas assured her. Cameron hasn't stopped talking about you since the day you met. Thomas's wife, Angela, was warm and welcoming. She and Naomi chatted easily about work and life. Angela was a teacher, passionate about education and her students. Throughout the evening, Cameron introduced Naomi to various people. Business leaders, politicians, other tech company CEOs. Everyone was curious about her, asking questions about her work at Rhodes Industries. Our social media presence has improved dramatically since Naomi joined the team, Cameron said proudly whenever someone asked. She's incredibly talented. During dinner there were speeches about innovation and business growth. Naomi listened attentively, impressed by the caliber of speakers. "You're doing great," Cameron murmured in her ear during a break. "Thank you," Naomi said. "Everyone has been very nice." After dinner the band started playing. Cameron led her to the dance floor just as he always did. "I'm starting to think you just invite me to these things so you have a dance partner," Naomi teased. "You caught me," Cameron said with a grin. "Though I'd dance with you anywhere, gala or not." They swayed to the music, comfortable in each other's arms. Naomi caught sight of them in one of the museum's mirrored walls. They looked good together, she thought. Like they fit. Later in the evening, a photographer approached their table. "Mr. Rhodes, could we get a photo of you and your date for the business section?" Cameron looked at Naomi. "Is that okay?" "Yes," Naomi said. She wasn't hiding anymore. She wasn't ashamed. She was happy and she didn't care who knew it. They posed together, Cameron's arm around her waist. Naomi smiled genuinely, feeling beautiful and confident. As the evening wound down, Cameron and Naomi stepped outside for some air. The night was cool and Naomi shivered slightly. Cameron immediately took off his jacket and draped it over her shoulders. "You always do that," Naomi observed. "Do what?" "Take care of me," Naomi said. "Notice when I need something and provide it without me asking." "That's what you do when you love someone," Cameron said simply. Naomi's heart skipped. He'd said he was falling in love before, but this was different. This was present tense. Real and current. "I love you too," Naomi said. "I know I've been scared, I know I've held back. But I don't want to anymore. I love you, Cameron." Cameron pulled her close and kissed her deeply. It was a kiss full of promise and possibility, of a future they could build together. "Move in with me," Cameron said when they pulled apart. Naomi blinked, surprised. "What?" "I have a house. It's too big for just me. Move in with me. Let's build a life together." This is it, the moment when fear tries to win. But what if love could win instead? What if taking a chance on happiness was the bravest thing Naomi could do? If you believe in second chances and new beginnings, subscribe and let me know in the comments about a time you took a leap of faith in your own life. Naomi didn't answer immediately. She looked at Cameron, at his hopeful expression, and felt pulled in two directions. Part of her wanted to say yes immediately. To dive into this relationship fully and see where it led. But another part, the part still healing from Travis's betrayal, was scared. "Can I think about it?" she asked. Cameron's face fell slightly, but he nodded. "Of course. Take all the time you need. I didn't mean to pressure you." "You're not," Naomi assured him. It's a big step. I want to be sure I'm ready." "I understand," Cameron said, though she could see the disappointment in his eyes. They drove home in slightly uncomfortable silence. When Cameron dropped her off at her apartment, he kissed her goodnight but didn't linger. "I'll call you tomorrow," he said. Inside her apartment, Naomi felt torn. She loved Cameron. She knew that. But moving in together felt so permanent, so serious. What if she wasn't ready? What if she messed it up? She called Simone. "He asked you to move in?" Simone said, excitement in her voice. "That's amazing." "Is it?" Naomi asked. "Or is it too fast? Do you love him?" Simone asked. "Yes." "Does he treat you well?" "Always." "Do you see a future with him?" Naomi hesitated, then realized the answer was yes. "I do." "Then what are you afraid of?" Simone asked gently. "Getting hurt again," Naomi admitted. "Trusting someone completely and having them break that trust." "Cameron isn't Travis," Simone said firmly. "From everything you've told me, he's nothing like Travis. He's kind and supportive and genuinely cares about you. Don't let fear of what might happen ruin what you have right now." Naomi knew her sister was right. She spent the night thinking, weighing her options, examining her feelings. By morning, she had made her decision. She texted Cameron. "Can we talk today?" His response was immediate. "Of course. My place or yours?" "Yours," Naomi replied. "I want to see where I might be living." Cameron sent her his address and Naomi drove over that afternoon. His house was in a nice neighborhood, a modern two-story with large windows and a well-maintained yard. Cameron answered the door with a nervous smile. Hi. Hi, Naomi said. He led her inside. The house was beautiful, decorated in neutral tones with comfortable furniture. Everything was clean and organized, lived in but not cluttered. It's a lot of space for one person, Cameron said as he gave her a tour. 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. I bought it thinking I'd fill it eventually, but I've been here 2 years and it still feels empty. They ended up in the living room sitting on his large couch. Natural light streamed through the windows, making everything bright and inviting. I have my answer, Naomi said. Cameron tensed. Okay. Yes, Naomi said simply. Yes, I'll move in with you. Cameron's face transformed with joy. Really? Really? Naomi confirmed. You're right. This house is too big for one person. And I love you. I want to build a life with you. Cameron pulled her into a tight hug. Thank you. Thank you for trusting me. Thank you for being patient, Naomi said. For not pushing. They spent the rest of the afternoon planning. Naomi would give notice at her apartment, start packing. They'd move her things slowly over the next month. I want you to make this house feel like yours too, Cameron said. Change whatever you want. Decorate however you like. This is our home now, not just mine. Over the following weeks, Naomi did just that. She added colorful throw pillows to the couch, hung art prints on the walls, filled the kitchen with her favorite cooking supplies. Cameron helped with everything, never complaining about the changes. Moving in together felt natural. They fell into easy routines. Cameron made coffee every morning while Naomi cooked breakfast. They carpooled to work, talking about their days. In the evenings, they cooked dinner together or ordered takeout and watched movies. It was domestic and simple and perfect. One evening, about 3 months after Naomi had moved in, she received a text from an unknown number. Hi Naomi. This is Travis. Can we talk? Naomi stared at the message, feeling her heart rate increase. She hadn't heard from Travis since their breakup. What could he possibly want now? Who is it? Cameron asked from the kitchen where he was preparing dinner. Travis, Naomi said. He wants to talk. Cameron came into the living room, concern on his face. What are you going to do? I don't know, Naomi said. Part of me wants to ignore it. But part of me is curious about what he wants. Whatever you decide, I support you, Cameron said. But you don't owe him anything, Naomi. Remember that. Naomi thought about it. Then she typed a response. What do you want? Travis's reply came quickly. I heard you're with Cameron Rhodes. I wanted to apologize for how things ended between us. And to see if there's any chance we could try again. Naomi felt anger rise in her chest. After everything he'd done, after spreading lies and ruining her reputation, now he wanted her back because she was with someone successful? She showed Cameron the message. What do you want to do? He asked calmly. I want to tell him no, Naomi said. Firmly and finally. Then do it, Cameron encouraged. Naomi typed her response carefully. Travis, I appreciate the apology, but it's too late. What you did hurt me deeply, both personally and professionally. I've moved on. I'm happy now. I'm with someone who treats me with respect and kindness, someone who builds me up instead of tearing me down. I hope you're happy too, but we're done. Please don't contact me again. She hit send before she could second-guess herself. Travis replied once more. I understand. I'm sorry for everything. You deserve to be happy. Naomi blocked the number and set down her phone. It's done. Cameron wrapped his arms around her. How do you feel? Free, Naomi said. Like I finally closed that chapter completely. I'm proud of you, Cameron said. That took courage. That night, as they lay in bed together, Cameron turned to her with a serious expression. Naomi, there's something I want to ask you. What is it? She said, feeling nervous. Would you consider making our relationship official? Not just living together but building a future together. Long term. Forever. Naomi felt her heart swell. Are you asking what I think you're asking? Not yet, Cameron said with a smile. But soon. I wanted to know if that's something you'd want. If you see a future with me. I do, Naomi said without hesitation. I absolutely do. Cameron kissed her softly. Good. Because I can't imagine my life without you in it. Six months passed in a blur of happiness. Naomi continued to excel at work, earning praise and recognition for her campaigns. Cameron's company grew, signing bigger clients and expanding into new markets. Together they built a life filled with love and laughter. One Saturday morning, Cameron suggested they visit his father in Florida. He's been wanting to meet you, Cameron said. I've told him so much about you. I'd love to meet him, Naomi agreed. They flew down that weekend. Cameron's father, Robert Rhodes, lived in a beach house in a retirement community. He was in his 70s with gray hair and kind eyes that reminded Naomi of Cameron. So you're the woman who's made my son smile again, Robert said, hugging Naomi warmly. I try, Naomi said with a laugh. They spent the weekend at the beach, walking along the shore and eating fresh seafood. Robert told stories about Cameron's childhood, embarrassing tales that made Cameron groan and Naomi laugh. He's always been determined, Robert said. Even as a kid. When he decided to start his company, I was worried. But his mother believed in him. She said he had something special. She was right, Naomi said, squeezing Cameron's hand. On their last evening there, Robert pulled Naomi aside while Cameron was in the shower. He's going to propose soon, Robert said quietly. I wanted to give you a heads up, and to say that I approve completely. You're good for him. Naomi felt tears spring to her eyes. Thank you. That means everything. Take care of him, Robert said. And let him take care of you. That's what love is, taking care of each other. They flew home Sunday night, both tired but happy. The following week was busy at work, with Naomi launching a major campaign for a new product line. On Friday evening, Cameron suggested they go to their favorite Italian restaurant, the same one they'd gone to on their first real date. I'm exhausted, Naomi said. Can we just stay in? Please, Cameron said. I have reservations. It's important. Something in his tone made Naomi agree. She changed into a maroon dress and let Cameron drive them downtown. The restaurant was more crowded than usual. As they walked in, Naomi was surprised to see familiar faces. Simone and Patrick. Thomas and Angela. Rachel from work. Her parents, who she hadn't known, were flying in. What's going on? Naomi asked, confused. Cameron led her to the center of the room, where a table had been set up with candles and flowers. Everyone was smiling, watching them. Naomi Brooks, Cameron said, taking both her hands in his. You came into my life when I least expected it. You were sitting alone at a wedding and I saw your pain. I wanted to help. But what started as an offer to pretend turned into the most real thing I've ever experienced. Naomi felt tears streaming down her face. You're kind and talented and strong, Cameron continued. You've faced hardship with grace. You've built yourself back up after being torn down. You inspire me every day to be better, to do better, to love better. He dropped to one knee, pulling a small box from his pocket. Inside was a beautiful diamond ring, simple and elegant. Will you marry me? Cameron asked. Will you be my partner, my best friend, my wife? Naomi couldn't speak through her tears. She nodded and then found her voice. Yes. Yes, of course, yes. Cameron stood and slipped the ring on her finger. It fit perfectly. He kissed her as everyone around them erupted in cheers and applause. Simone rushed forward to hug her sister. I'm so happy for you. You knew? Naomi asked. We all knew, Simone said with a laugh. Cameron planned this whole thing weeks ago. Naomi's parents hugged her next, both crying happy tears. We're so proud of you, her mother said. And we're so glad you found someone who loves you the way you deserve. The evening turned into an impromptu engagement party. The restaurant staff brought out champagne and special desserts. Everyone toasted to the happy couple, sharing stories and laughter. Later, when things calmed down, Cameron and Naomi stepped outside for a moment alone. This is really happening, Naomi said, looking at her ring in wonder. This is really happening, Cameron confirmed. You're going to be my wife. I love you so much, Naomi said. Thank you for seeing me that night at the wedding. Thank you for offering to help. Thank you for everything. Thank you for saying yes, Cameron replied. Not just to the proposal but to every step along the way. For taking chances. For trusting me. For letting love lead. They kissed under the bright streetlights, surrounded by the sounds of the city they both loved. It was a perfect moment, a perfect ending to a story that had started with loneliness and pain. But it wasn't really an ending, Naomi realized. It was a beginning. The beginning of their life together, built on kindness and hope and love. 3 months later, they married in a simple ceremony at the beach with family and close friends in attendance. Naomi wore a white dress with blue accents, something borrowed from Simone. Cameron wore a gray suit and couldn't stop smiling. As they exchanged vows, promising to love and honor each other, Naomi thought about how far she'd come. From sitting alone at a wedding, broken and gossiped about, to standing here as a bride, loved and celebrated. Life had a funny way of working out, she thought. When you opened yourself to kindness, when you let hope in, when you allowed love to lead, beautiful things could happen. And as Cameron kissed her, sealing their vows, Naomi knew that this was just the beginning of their beautiful story together.